Andrew, fermented foods get described like tiny medicine cabinets. Yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha, miso. But on the shelf, some are refrigerated and bubbly, some are pasteurized, and some mostly taste sour. What is the first split viewers should make before believing a gut health claim?
The clean split is fermented food, probiotic food, and postbiotic style food. Fermented food is made by desired microbial growth and enzyme activity. A probiotic food should contain identified live microbes in amounts shown to help a host. A heat-treated fermented milk may still contain acids, peptides, cell fragments, and flavor compounds, but not living organisms. So the word fermented tells you how the food was made. It does not tell you what survived or what outcome to expect.
So, if I'm holding a spoon of yogurt or a forkful of kimchi, should I imagine microbes colonizing my gut, metabolites being absorbed, or just another nutritious food matrix? Which latter matters most?
All three can matter, but differently. Live lactic acid bacteria have to pass acid, bile, and competition from resident microbes. Many do not permanently move in. They interact while passing through. Fermentation products, organic acids, peptides, phenolic metabolites in some foods, and texture changes arrive already made. Then the food matrix changes digestion. Yogurt brings protein and calcium. Vegetables bring fiber and phytochemicals. Salty brines bring sodium. That is why one umbrella claim for all fermented foods is too blunt. Yogurt is the easiest place to compress evidence because it is more standardized than a random home jar. Trials comparing probiotic yogurt with conventional yogurt found a small increase in fecal acetate and interleukin-10, but no clear advantage for propionate, butyrate, total short-chain fatty acids, C-reactive protein, or oxidative stress markers. The certainty was very low. Translation: yogurt can be a reasonable food choice, but probiotic yogurt is not automatically a stronger anti-inflammatory treatment.
People also hear that yogurt or fermented dairy helps with belly fat. Is that a real effect? Or is it mostly the kind of person who eats yogurt also doing other healthy things?
The signal is interesting, not decisive. In a 2026 dose-response meta-analysis, higher yogurt intake was associated with about 21% lower odds of abdominal obesity, and each 160 grams per day of total dairy related to 8% lower odds. But most included studies were cross-sectional. People who eat yogurt may differ in sleep, snacks, income, exercise, and overall diet. Use that evidence to choose yogurt over a low-protein dessert, not to promise waste reduction. There is one safety distinction. Controlled fermentation can improve food safety, but it is not permission to ferment carelessly. A yogurt processing meta-analysis found fermentation plus storage could strongly reduce E. coli and Staphylococcus aureus under studied conditions, with storage showing larger reductions than processing alone. That does not mean every home ferment is safe. Temperature, salt, acidity, clean containers, and refrigeration still decide whether helpful microbes dominate or pathogens get a chance.
What about kimchi and sauerkraut? They feel more alive than yogurt because they bubble and smell intense. Are they mainly delivering probiotics? Or are we underrating the cabbage, garlic, chili, and fiber part?
Exactly. With vegetable ferments, the baseline food is already doing work. Cabbage, radish, garlic, and spices bring fibers and phytochemicals that resident microbes can use. Fermentation lowers pH, changes texture, and creates acids and aroma compounds. But a spicy spoonful of kimchi is not the same exposure as a standardized probiotic capsule or a controlled yogurt trial. The practical claim should be, it may diversify meals and microbial exposures, while outcome certainty varies by product and person. Constipation trials show why we separate symptoms from mechanisms. A fermented brown rice plant milk did not beat its isocaloric control for the primary complete, spontaneous bowel movement rate, though straining, bloating, and abdominal pain improved more, with microbiome shifts including Blosha species. A heat-inactivated fermented milk was safe, but did not improve bowel frequency, transit time, or most symptoms versus placebo, despite exploratory neurotransmitter biomarkers. Mechanistic engagement is not the same as clinical success.
Then, who is most likely to notice anything? Someone with constipation, someone who eats almost no plant foods, someone replacing dessert with yogurt, or someone chasing a microbiome test score.
Start with ordinary portions and labels. Choose yogurt with live and active cultures if live microbes are the goal, and compare added sugar. For sauerkraut or pickles, refrigerated raw versions are more likely to contain live cultures than shelf-stable pasteurized jars, but check sodium. If histamine-rich foods trigger flushing, headaches, hives, or gut symptoms, fermented foods may worsen that pattern. And if you're immunocompromised, pregnant with food safety concerns, or medically fragile, ask a clinician before experimenting broadly.
If someone wants to run a personal trial without turning breakfast into a lab experiment, what would you track, and when should expectations change?
Pick one change for 2 to 4 weeks. For example, plain yogurt with breakfast, or a small serving of kimchi with lunch. Track the outcome you actually care about: bloating, stool frequency, straining, reflux, or snack replacement. Stop or scale back if symptoms clearly worsen. Seek medical advice for blood and stool, unexplained weight loss, persistent severe pain, fever, dehydration, or major bowel habit changes. Fermented foods are foods, not substitutes for evaluating red flags. The bottom line is a sorting rule. If you want live microbes, buy products that say live cultures and were not heat-treated after fermentation. If you want a better diet pattern, use fermented foods to replace lower-quality snacks or add plant variety. If you want symptom relief, test one food, one portion, one outcome. And if the claim says fermented foods reset immunity, melt belly fat, or cure constipation, ask which product, which dose, which outcome, and compared with what.